The journey through life's second half is just different. The somewhat natural progression through the first half with school, relationships, career pursuits, potentially raising a family, and much more, suddenly shifts into one big question mark. As we garner more flexibility with our schedules, we wonder about how we may want to invest that additional time. As we ponder potential post-career options, Pandora's box seemingly explodes wide open. We face, potentially for the first time, the idea that our years are not unlimited. The why, what, how, and with whom bubbles to the surface, with both possibilities and the accompanying uncertainties like never before. We look around for guidance only to find the masses settling for the status quo. And that's not us. We're not done yet. We want to make the most of the life we have left on this earth, to bolster the time, money, health trilogy through this second half of life. If that's you, or if you're a coach working with clients looking to make the most of their second half of life, this special episode is for you. If this is your first time to join us, I'm Dr. Brad Cooper of Catalyst Coaching and the host of the podcast you pulled up, The Coaching Lab. As I move through this second half of life personally, I sensed a growing need to help folks effectively move through this stage because I'm struggling with it too. This growing sense resulted in trying out an experiment. The launch of a new podcast completely separate from this one, titled Not Done Yet, Bolstering Life's Second Half. As you'll hear momentarily in the brief kickoff episode to follow this introduction, the intention is not to provide, in quotes, the right answers, but rather to take this journey together, sharing struggles, discoveries, ponderings, pitfalls, and opportunities along the way. It's available via Spotify and Apple, and we provided a direct link to the Not Done Yet home base of articles and resources, which includes the podcast, in the description that accompanies this episode to make it easy. As always, if you have any questions related to either this new resource, pursuing your MBHWSC-approved health and wellness coach certification, coaching continuing education and specialty programs, or even integrating best-in-class coaching into your employee benefits or EAP services, please reach out anytime. The email is results@catalystcoaching360.com. That's results@catalystcoaching360.com. Thanks for joining us, and without further ado, here is the brief introductory crossover episode of the Not Done Yet podcast. Welcome to the Not Done Yet podcast. My goal with this is to help us pursue a different perspective on the potential adventure of journeying through life's second half. Now, I say us because this is me as much as you. I don't have a plan for this, and we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm going to be going through this journey with you, and I'd love some company. And I thought, rather than me doing this in a vacuum, why not hit record, throw some stuff out there, share the struggles, share the discouragement, share the excitement, the potential, and maybe others are right there with me. So it's going to be unlike most podcasts you've probably heard. So I thought maybe a little introduction might help you decide, is this for me? So why are we here? The second half of life, I don't know if you've seen this, but it seems to bring with it a tendency to settle, to ease into that status quo. But in an effort to simplify or relax a little, we end up simultaneously sacrificing our potential, our courage to live a life that surpasses itself. The couch is calling, and in choosing a path of least resistance, we inadvertently also choose the path of limited momentum. But I get the sense that's not you. Somehow you stumbled across this podcast and it caught your attention. You're not done yet. Whether you're just crossing into your 40s, rolling through your 90s, or anywhere in between, you see hope and potential through the second half of life's journey. I'm with you. I want to be with you. And it's my goal to provide you with a spark of hope and a sense of camaraderie that you're not alone as I share the discoveries, stumbles, strategies, and inner thoughts as I go through this journey. And maybe there's something there for you along the way. So who am I? Who is this guy on the other side of the mic that you're listening to? I'm Brad Cooper, entrepreneur, athlete, author, scientist, husband, dad, and in recent years, Gramps. I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not a best-selling author or famous researcher, but I'm a great funnel. My skill set is gathering the very best physiological, psychological, and occasionally philosophical insights from others, trying them out in my own life, and then sharing the practical application of what I'm seeing happen with folks like you who are looking to bolster your second half of life. That curiosity that started at a young age has led to 4 college degrees in biology, physical therapy, business, and most recently a PhD in performance psychology that I went back to pursue at the age of 50. The application side has helped me have some pretty decent success as a master's athlete, including becoming the first person to ever win the race across America, qualify for the Hawaii Ironman World Championship, and run a sub-3-hour marathon, all within the same 6-month period, and on the heels of a bike wreck that resulted in 8 fractures to the clavicle, ribs, and pelvis. I was incredibly fortunate to marry an amazing woman 32 years ago. I'm sure marriage and relationships will play into this at some point, and be dad to 3 incredible kids. I grew up in a middle-class family, attended public schools up until grad school, and worked in healthcare for 20 years before Susanna and I went the entrepreneurial route, launching our national employee wellness company in 2007. Frankly, this podcast is an experiment. It seems like so many of us in this second half of life have either A, settled in and accepted the status quo and just kind of going along with the flow, or B, have been looking for a new adventure, but aren't sure what that might look like or how to keep the mind and body sharp for that journey ahead. My hope is that this can provide those in the first group a little nudge, some sort of encouragement for what could be, what opportunities do exist, and provide a reminder the adventures are far from over. And for the second group, to share my own struggles, ponderings, discoveries, and outcomes as I walk this second half of life right alongside you. The plan with this podcast? I don't really have one. Our popular, more traditional podcast that we've been doing for 7 years now, The Coaching Lab, focuses on interviews with many of the world's most brilliant people, most gifted athletes and coaches. And we've released over 350 weekly episodes over the years. This is not that podcast. This is completely different. We will not be doing interviews. I don't have a schedule in mind. There will be minimal to no editing. I will essentially just hit record when it makes sense to do so and share my own journey with all the ups, downs, encouraging discoveries, and heartbreaking downfalls. It's my hope that in doing so, it will provide you some encouragement, some of your own hope, and the company of a real live, pretty regular guy trying to make the most of his own journey through this second half of life as you do the same in your own life. Friends, mediocrity surrounds us. The couch is calling. Settling for the status quo is, well, it's the status quo. But if you're different, if you're not done yet, I'd be honored to have you join me on this journey through the second half of life. Feel free to reach out. Email is bcooper@catalystcoaching360.com. And we've also provided contact details in the description if helpful. Until next time, keep looking up, reaching out, and moving forward. And I'll speak with you soon on another episode of the Not Done Yet podcast.